first questions every parent should ask, but maybe they're afraid to hear the answers. In today's techno world, it's tough to keep up, but you have to in order to keep the kids safe and out of trouble.
Yeah, Sharon Cindrich is the author of The Plugged In Parent. It's a regular column in Metroparent Magazine. She's going on her 5th year now with the column, which is incredible. And today she's here with answers to tough questions. It's so nice to have you back, Sharon.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great to be back. It has.
You moved
been
away.
A while. Yeah.
I was so sad. I still miss you, so it's nice
and
to
now
have you
I'm
back.
here.
It's great.
It's great to be back.
Let's talk about some of these questions, because you actually did this with a group of parents in Shorewood, right? Where it was kind of like a rapid fire thing where people threw out questions. We're going to do that today if you're cool with that.
That's wonderful, yeah.
Okay, let's start with alcohol online. What's the deal with that?
Yes, well, you know, online alcohol purchasing has become popular now, just like a lot of other e-commerce. And so, yes, could a child purchase alcohol online? They could. However, there are a lot of safeguards that are put in place by the retailers, obviously.
So these are like beer of the month clubs. That's
wine, you can buy that kind of thing.
Okay, what about like hard alcohol, vodka?
A lot of that will vary state to state, depending on the particular state's, you know, trafficking of alcohol and that kind of thing. So that will depend. But because it's kind of inner state, you know, you might be ordering from another state. That is when it can be different. What most often happens is that kids are getting alcohol from their friends. That is so people will worry about online, you know, access to alcohol, and they'll be concerned about it. But the reality is, the majority of kids are getting it from their friends, by using a fake ID, or by getting access to their parents' liquor closets. And so while it should
locked up.
No, and it should be a concern, and parents should be aware of it. That's why it's really important for parents to be connected on what are their kids doing online, what sites are they visiting, and just be connected and talk to their kids about those kind of things.
Well, let's go back to that. We've actually asked this question before, and I'm interested to hear your responses. Should parents friend their child on Facebook? My initial response would think to be yes.
Absolutely. Kids shouldn't really be on Facebook until they're 13. That's actually the rules of Facebook, and that's based on laws about to protect children for their privacy, because companies cannot collect private information from a child. So that's why that 13 age limit is there. So when parents are first helping their child set that Facebook up, that needs to be a requirement, and they need to approach it as a way of saying, I just want to see what the dialogue looks like. It's not that I don't trust you, but I need to be familiar with this.
But she's got a niece who's got a Facebook account that she lets her parents access and their friends, but then she's got another one that she created, that's separate, where she does her real Facebooking.
And kids will find every workaround and backdoor there is. That is absolutely the nature of kids, on and offline. So we know this about kids, but it is important. Obviously, the parents found out about this in some way. And so you have to remember, kids, while they're very tech savvy and they can be very, very smart about finding those back doors, they're not smart about everything. And that's why it's really important to have things set up, have friends of friends, have the grandma friend you. When kids are younger, especially in that 13-year age group, they're more willing to get the guidance from their parents. But as they get older, that peer group becomes so influential, and that's when they start to learn tricks from their peers. If you set yourself up early on, that child probably has grandparents, aunts, friends of your friends, parents' friends that are still going to be on there. Even if they're starting to work things around, you've built a network that can kind of follow, and you can hear about what's going on. And that's why it's so important to start out at that foundation when kids are being easily influenced by their parents.
I think it's great. Just so we don't run out of time, I want to go through some of these pretty quickly. 1,000 texts a month, is that normal? I would say yes. I usually hit 1,500 or more.
It's not uncommon at all, and that's why it's really important for parents to have some type of a family text plan.
My child looked at porn online, now what?
Also very common. Talk to your child. Your computer should have a filter on it. There are very easy, free filters. There's a great free filter called K9 Web Protection. It's free. You can also get OpenDNS that basically will filter your entire Wi-Fi, any type of internet access you have. Google parental controls, parental computer filters, and you'll find tons of products for families.
Yeah. How about kids receiving online sexual advancements?
We hear about that a lot as a big problem. The reality of that is that the majority of sexual advancements they're getting are from their peers. If I go to school and someone says she's hot, that could be considered a sexual advancement. They do that on the bus and in the lunchroom. They do it between each other. It happens online, but oftentimes you'll hear about predators, or parents are worried that it's, you know, strangers that are advanced, you know, sending these messages. It's oftentimes peers. Talk to kids about behaving responsibly and talking responsibly online, because it's one thing to say it, but when it's online, it lasts on the internet.
I got to ask you, can technology cause ADHD?
Technology doesn't cause ADHD. However, kids with ADHD may have exaggerated behaviors associated with that condition when they're online, because there are some things about it. Being able to be successful at a video game where they're not successful in sports or in school can make them more attracted to it. Also, kids with ADHD can hyper-focus, and they tend to hyper-focus sometimes, and it can be harder to manage it with kids with ADHD. However, it doesn't cause them to have it.
Okay.
Real quick, yes or no, we're out of time. Are academically smart kids less likely to get in trouble online?
No. In fact, some of them, of course, might be more apt to, because they might be smarter about the technology, those workarounds. Every kid could get in trouble, no matter how smart or well-behaved they are, which is why it's critical for parents to be involved.
I know it's a lot of work to be involved, especially if you're not so tech savvy, which I'm not. So it takes a lot for parents. Well, Sharon's Plugged In Parent column runs every month in Metroparent Magazine. I want to say a huge congratulations to her on 5 years. You can find her online also at this site. It's pluggedinparent.com. Stick around too, because a little later in the show we want to talk to you about your American Girl books and ask a few more questions about kids. So thank you, Sharon.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.